want to get into some of the UFC event that we just had on Saturday. UFC 271. This was a pretty fun fight card. It took place in Houston, and it was headlined by Israel Adesanya. I believe this is his fifth title defense, and he was fighting Robert Whittaker for the second time. The first time they fought was in 2019, and Robert Whittaker was basically Izzy had the interim belt, which he had won from Kelvin Gastelum, and then Robert Whittaker was the champ who was on a layoff, so he was coming back to unify the belt. And Izzy knocked him out in the first fight. The first fight, Rob kind of it seemed like he was trying to be more aggressive, and it led to some counter strikes from Izzy that resulted in him getting knocked out and finished on the ground in the second round. But this was different. You could tell that both of these guys have improved. Whittaker went in there and he didn't bring it in as aggressive of a way because he knew you got to be cautious when you're fighting Izzy. I know some people say that they think that Whittaker got robbed and it was a robbery. I think it was a really close fight. I think a few of the rounds Izzy won, but it's not like he completely dominated. There wasn't really any fight where, or any time in the fight where either of them looked like they were going to get hurt and knocked out or anything like that. It was just kind of this back and forth. Like Izzy, I feel like he really excels when someone's trying to come at him and take his head off because he has incredible counters. But in this fight, it was he wasn't getting all those opportunities, and he's destroying Rob's leg. But Rob was able to land a few big shots. He took him down a few times. That was another thing too. Izzy has pretty good takedown defense, so even when he did get taken down, he bounced up really quick. There was a point in the fight where Rob took his back, and it looked like he had a chance to submit him, but Izzy was able to kind of just slip out of it pretty nicely. So I don't disagree with the result of the decision. I think that Izzy won, the three rounds at least. I think Whittaker won the second round and the fifth, for sure. But even at that, the fifth I would say was his most dominant round. The second wouldn't say it was super dominant. I do think that he won, but it was close. And then kind of all the other rounds were 3 and 4. They were pretty close, but I would say Izzy probably won those ones, and then he won the first round. So I don't disagree with the decision. I do think that if you're going to take the belt from the current champion and you're in the fifth round of a very close fight, some of the grappling Whittaker was shooting for a takedown with 30 seconds left. And it's like, dude, you're in position, if you could hurt Izzy right now, maybe you could sway the judges. I don't know. It's like if you're gonna take the champ out, you got to take him out. Unless you're gonna get a dominant, unless you're gonna just outright dominate them, you're probably not gonna win a close decision versus the champ. I mean, we've seen that in a lot of John Jones's fights, like the Reyes fight, for example. It was a very, very close fight. Most people had Reyes as the winner on the scorecard. Jones kind of finished strong towards the tail end of the fight. So it was just kind of one of those things if we're going based on the normal standard criteria for judging, then you can make a strong argument that Reyes won that fight. But a lot of people argue if you're going to beat the champ, you got to beat the champ. You got to knock him out or finish him or hurt him or completely dominate him. And in both of these fights, that didn't really happen necessarily. And obviously, I don't think Whittaker was as close to winning as Reyes was against Jones. But regardless, that was the main event. I know I've seen Michael Chandler tweeted out saying that he thinks Izzy's just kind of fighting the safe way to win. And I mean, I get that. He's not throwing caution to the wind and putting himself in compromising positions where he could get knocked out. And he's doing what he needs to do to get wins. And at the end of the day, a win is what matters. A win's what pays the bills. Izzy has had his spectacular knockouts, He's got a nice highlight reel, so it's not going to happen on every given night. And styles also make fights. I would venture to say he probably has a better chance to knock out Cannonier